go again. Let's try this. Right, public. Alright, I think I am up.
Why isn't this working, James?
I don't know, but I know I am up.
Okay. Hang on.
Yep.
Oh, you might not be able to hear your system sounds if you change it from default speakers. Well, default speakers don't work.
Mm.
Don't change it from default speakers. You might be able to hear something. We don't want that. God fucking damn it. Okay.
Yes. If you have heard this rambling before, listeners, I know there are many of you. Yesterday when we did the Mad Libs
And any
and
feedback?
the Mad Libs special yesterday, um, apparently it never recorded any of my dialogue.
And I can't
And
imagine why.
yeah,
It does for every other person I've ever streamed with.
yeah.
Wait, James, that last one we did, where we were like making pepper on Doldivan, that was a YouTube stream, so it's not even a YouTube thing.
Yeah. Well,
Can
actually,
it?
I don't remember any. I remember yesterday I had a different pair of headphones. I think, but I think that was only for the recording I did. That ended horribly on World of Warcraft.
But I can't imagine that would make a difference.
Mm.
There's no way this one's picking up your sound.
Can you hear me, or I don't know how you're testing it.
I can hear you just fine, and half the time XSplit says it's hearing you. But for some reason, your audio is not showing up in the fucking stream.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't make any fucking sense, because it's picking you up. It's actively,
Not
it's
to be
registering.
patronizing or anything, but like, do you have it muted or something?
If I have it muted, then why is it picking you up? And why can I hear you, James?
Well, can you hear yourself? It's like,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Everything in
So,
the stream sounds fine.
all right, that's
But
just what
my
I was
system
asking.
sound isn't going through. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I can listen to the stream just fine and it won't do any feedback. Which is something that would happen if I'm picking up system sound, because then the stream would record the stream, which would record the stream, so on
All
and
right.
so forth.
So just to
This sucks.
maybe we can try to figure it out later, but I'd like to get this show on the road.
Yeah, whatever. Your stream's more important. Whatever, fuck.
Well, no, Carl.
That's what you're saying.
Okay, but
Kinda.
oh, okay, yeah, but who wants to hear us ramble about technical problems for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, they want to hear us answer Patreon questions, James.
Okay.
Actually, does it cost money to add to make a Patreon?
I'm not certain. I just know you gain money from it.
I'm about to find out.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, my guest today is Kristopher Campbell, otherwise known as Carl. So, how you been doing?
How have I been doing?
Yeah.
I've been, I'm alright.
Right.
I have some pretty big news, but I actually want to run that by Reb first before I tell anyone on stream.
Ooh, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah. It's pretty
So,
big.
one of the things I wanted to talk about was, obviously, like, the last, time I had my, podcast episode with Carl, it just got no, it's gone. Because of, my beginning technical difficulties with Xstream, or XSplit. So, we're not going to talk about
so many
exactly
problems.
the same things, but what I would like to talk about is some of the young, like the memories we have from Opportunity School.
Memories from Opportunity School, really.
Yeah. So, first off, I want to ask you, Carl, what got you sent there in the first place?
I was a cry baby. And I
Well, no.
screamed. I scream. Is the past tense of scream, or scrum? Because I feel like it's scream.
I think it screamed.
Well, Well, like if we're doing it correctly though, because screamed is like, that's weird.
Okay.
I want to say it's.
No, I have
I'm
this
gonna say
particular memory of you
scream.
telling me about like an acid picture.
Oh yeah. So when I was an edgy little kid, I had this crush on this girl, but then some other girl told her, and I was embarrassed. So I got mad and I drew a fucking like. Funny, we were talking about like Gilgamesh style epics the other day, but I drew something pretty akin. I drew like 20 fucking pictures of this like series of events where it's like I don't remember what her name was, but let's say her name was like, let's just say her name was,
Kimberly.
I don't know, yeah, Kimberly. Good, I couldn't think of anything. Kimberly Kimberly is a total loser day. Of course, I never swore or anything. I was like 8 or something. It was like Kimberly's a total loser day, and then she got like blown up and then put in acid, and then the vat of acid was sent to space where it landed on the moon, and then the moon crashed into Mars, and then I think we blew up Mars or something. It sounds shorter than it was. It was a lot. I think it was like she got obliterated. First she got like thrown in acid, and that was buried on like the moon, and then that was thrown at Mars, and then I think Mars got sucked into a black hole at some point, and then exploded the black. It was crazy. But then, and I was angry, and I had no other way to express my rage. And I feel like that's a pretty healthy outlet. I mean, it's not like I drew me going to school holding some kind of weird L, and like there's just dead kids in the hallway. Like it was goofy. It was cartoonishly violent. Like that's not even possible. I launched the moon at Mars. That's not. And like my parents backed me up because while they were a little frustrated at me, what? Oh, it's okay, honey. It's probably okay. It's working just fine. Basically, I was just saying that, like.
I didn't mean to break the car.
Oh, that's fine, honey. It happens all the time. It's okay. Yeah. So I don't know. They were more or less on my side because they thought it was just more or less a healthy outlet for my anger than like fighting them or confronting them or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I got in like massive fucking trouble. Like the principal screamed at me. Like they fucking were so pissed. They treated me like I was a school shooter in the making because I drew like 15 pictures of a sequence of cartoonishly violent events that literally are less graphic than what you get in Tom and Jerry.
Oh.
And like yeah, and then ultimately that is kind of I think what sent it over the edge, and I got sent to fucking actually. If I'm being honest, James, actually how it started is I got sent to Long Beach.
Oh, I've been there.
And then Long Beach had a what's that called? Is that called a co-ed or something? Something like, ed.
Gen Ed, I know.
It's like a special ed.
Oh, okay.
Special ed? Was that it?
Yeah.
Went to like a special ed there thing. Mr. Sternad, he was cool, but a little
did you ever
weirdo.
meet Mr. Milka there?
Mr. Milka, that sounds familiar.
Well, I don't know. He was, I think, my social worker when I went to Long Beach, but. Yeah.
Did he kind of look?
Dude, I don't remember him except for the fact that this one very vague memory where he had a sandbox or a box, like rather like a little bin of sand with like action figures.
Did he have a shit ton of like Legos?
I know he had toys, so he might have had Legos. I'm not certain though.
But I think I remember Mr. Milka. Mr. Milka was fun. I liked Milka. But like, yeah, and basically, yeah, I got sent to Long Beach, special ed there. Then I came back to Old Post for a little bit, and then I said "damn" once, and then that just sent it over the edge, and I got sent over to fucking Opportunity School because I said "damn," and yeah, so then I was sent to Opportunity. How did you get there again, James?
So
was
mine starts a little younger at Fox Chase Elementary School. So apparently there's more than what just tipped it over the edge that I can't remember. Though
Wait, what the
hilariously, I was told that I tackled a police officer or someone right before
Wait,
that.
hang on, real quick, James. I'm looking at Patreon. It says, "What describes your content?" And this gives me a bunch of boxes to check. And it says, podcasts, videos, illustration and animation, writing and journalism, music, game software, communities, photography, other local businesses, that's like restaurant, yoga,
Mm-hmm.
studio, venue, etc. And I go, okay, well, videos, and
Podcast.
then podcasts, and then probably I'm going to get into some writing and huh, that's weird. Now it's just grayed out all the other options, and I look and it says you can pick up to 2 categories.
Oh.
You want to make videos, podcasts, and have that be about games? Fuck you. Do you make music videos? Weird. Okay, don't do anything else. You're really stretching it there.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hope you don't make music videos, because animation and illustration are different too. Hope they're not animated.
So anyway,
Continue.
so apparently I tackled a police officer, and when my mom told me that, I'm like, okay, did I stupidly go for the upper body, or did I go for his legs? And she says, I think you went for his legs. I'm like, pretty damn smart for a kid.
Nice.
Yeah. But the kind of tipping point is I saw people having lunch in the lunchroom. So I'm like, hey, can I go have lunch there? And they're like, no, we're sending you home. You're part of kindergarten. You're not here the full day. But I'm like, well, that apparently enraged me because I ran out of the classroom and, went all about the school trying to get there so I could have lunch.
Huh?
Hmm?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so continue,
yeah.
James.
So I just ran all about to the school being chased until I actually got to the lunchroom, and I'm like, I don't remember what I yelled, but I'm pretty sure I yelled something. And that's when they get me. And
Yeah.
apparently that was the tipping point. They're like, all right, you're getting kicked out of Fox Kids Elementary School, so have fun.
Yeah, hang on. Give me 1 second, James.
Yep. Bum bum ba 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 bum. Da 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 da. All right, here we go now. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum.
Videos.
Videos and like what?
If you click other, what happens?
Ugh. Okay.
That's just.
So,
I mean, I would say click videos
yes,
and
Rebecca,
music.
Reb, Carl's girlfriend.
And I mean, you can make videos
Hang
about
on,
other
dude.
shit.
Videos and then what? Music. I'm not gonna make music. I am, but like, I don't know if I prioritize that over. Shit, this is so. I'll just do videos and other. Fine, that's cheating.
Alright.
Okay, keep going, James.
So after
your
that,
work.
my mom decided to homeschool me for about a year or so because I didn't really remember this at the time.
Yeah, I think that's a
My
no.
mom was a substitute teacher for a while. And then after that year, I was sent to opportunity school,
Yeah.
and that's where I kind of get my start at opportunity school.
What are you guys talking about right now?
How James got to opportunity school. Well, that's pretty interesting.
Apparently, I just learned a bit about Mesopotamia there that it just stuck with me for the rest of my life. Weird.
I see.
Yeah, but it like in 6th grade with Miss Johnson, we were talking about the same thing. I'm like, I know already. Challenge me with questions or something. Like,
James, do you think my work is going to include real or illustrated nudity?
no, I don't think it is. I hope it doesn't.
There goes the porn review. Pick your currency. US dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
And we reach step 4, and it's like, okay, pay $500 a month. It's like, oh, cool. Cool. What? Want to reserve a custom URL for your Patreon page? Oh, no.
Yep. So I don't know.
Wait,
One thing I
yeah.
thought would be interesting to tell on the podcast was how weirdly smart I was for a kid. Right? I think personally, I look back and I'm like, what an idiot sometimes. But there was this time I told Carl about that I would like to tell now. So apparently, or rather, I just remember it sometimes, when there was like a small office room. The whole like old opportunity school used to be in a bit of an office building of sorts. So there
Yeah.
was this, office that was in the very front of the building where the principal's office was, and that was headed by Mrs. Anderson. And apparently, I just did something, and I was in the room. So I'm like, I want you all to get out of here.
Wait,
And the whole
wait, hang on. Wait, James, hang on a second. What? Alright, James, keep talking, but I am gonna mute myself, but I am listening.
apparently what happened was there was a bunch of female administrative people in the office. I'm like, I want you all to get out of here, and they're like, well, we can't leave. So apparently I just start taking my clothes off until they leave the room. And I look back and I'm like, how did I even know they would be forced to leave the room? I didn't. I don't know how I knew, but it happened. They all left the room until they could get someone. I don't know what qualified someone else to be in the room. I don't know. I think they got a dude, and he had to make me put my clothes back on. The weird thing I think about is, I remember this meme going out about these parents who caught their kid masturbating, and it's like, and they then decided to put in a security camera, to stop the kid from doing that. And the meme was all about like, all right, kid, all you have to do is look straight into the camera and do it, and just bring them up on child pornography, charges. And it's like, careful, this man's a hero, sort of thing. I just always think about it. It's like, Also, opportunity school in general was just an odd place. Like, we weren't allowed to go into the bathrooms as a group,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they
weird.
always let us in one at a time. Even so, some of the dumbest things have happened there, one at a time. Like,
Yeah.
there's this guy, Vinny, who went in and had the stall of a urinal fall on him. It's like, that seems problematic for no one else to be in there when it happens. Saying,
The stall
yeah,
fell on him?
yeah.
What?
So you remember like the little dividers in between the urinals in like the
Fell?
bathrooms?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it like fell off and fell on him. Yeah. So I don't know. I want to ask you, Carl. Like, what are some of the fonder, funnier memories you remember from opportunity school?
Man, there's a few.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few. I think if I'm to say a fond memory, I think I think it was my first day or one of my first days there was pretty good because it was a school assembly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go from this boring, pretty neurotypical school to this, and I'm sitting at the school assembly, and you know what those are like.
Yeah.
It's loud, and frankly, it's a little bit much for me.
Yeah, I didn't like them.
And I'm a little stressed out, and I'm pretending I don't like it because I'm also a little edgy. But like, it's fun. And now that I look back at it, I was like, dude, that was so fun. I want to be in another school assembly opportunity school right about now. They were like blasting like really shitty pop music I didn't like, and all the like autistic like kindergartners were like jumping around and like dancing in the middle, and they were like playing games. Like, that's so fun. I want to go. I want to do that again.
I'm kind of
Come
happy for
on.
those kids, cause right. I remember when I was a little kid being autistic, and I was like a trauma victim, like so quiet, rarely speaking up, except for the times where I'd get out of that character and be an absolute dickhead. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, speaking of actually young introduction of Carl to that school, want to talk about how we hated each other at first?
Oh yeah. We despised each other, didn't we?
Yeah. Like, for those, like, he is my best friend, Carl. But when he, I was so excited to hear about someone new coming to the school because I don't know. I think I didn't like the people that were already there. So I hear this new guy Carl is coming, and I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool. And then he gets there, and
Oh
they tell him
yeah.
that, and I'm like, this guy sucks, and like I just don't like him.
Well, that's not no. That's not what immediately happened. Remember,
No,
James?
no, I like apparently that's what happened. Like in my head, like, oh yeah, this guy sucks.
No, that's not quite what happened, because no, this is what happened. This is
Uh-huh.
what happened. Right. I am coming to school, and they tell me, "Oh man, this James guy is really happy to see. He's really excited to meet you." And I'm like, "Whoa, that sounds fun. I can't believe someone's actually excited to see me anywhere for any
Aw.
reason." So I go there, and I step in, and I can say this because at the time I was like, "What? How old were we, James, when I first
We were
entered?"
in either fifth or fourth grade, so we had to be
How
like.
old are you? Like 6, 4?
I
How
know
old are
in
you?
sixth grade you're about 11 to 12, so we must have been 10 or 11, something like that.
Probably 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 8. Probably what Reb said. Probably like 8 or 9. Is that what you said, Reb?
Yeah,
8 or 9. So we were 8 or 9.
maybe
And
9 or 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think 10.
I
is
walk
really
in,
what
and
age
there's
we were.
this. Yeah, and I walk in, and I see this one kid, and oh, he's a little cute. Ooh, baby crush. But, and I'm like, oh wow, he's pretty cute. And then I look over, and then I see this like weird sort of goblin also sitting in a desk nearby. And then the teacher does not direct me to the cute kid. He directs me to the Tommy Kremlin. And they're like, "This is James." They were really excited to meet you. And I go, "Oh, oh."
Cute guy.
What was that?
Who's the cute guy?
Cody?
Yeah, Dakota. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Like,
Yeah, that was interesting.
that is
And then-
comedy movie level, just.
It was pretty good, especially since later I absolutely like you way more than Cody.
Huh?
So I said, especially since way later, like down the road, I ultimately like you way more than Cody. Cody's annoying. I don't
Yeah.
hate him.
I remember the one
Yeah, I
time we were
wanna-
watching Cody Banks up on like some big, inflatable screen. He just outright yells at me like, "You're a bitch." And I'm like,
I
"Oh,
remember-
I've never heard that word before. What was that?"
I remember once he unironically tried to convince me he was a gay Jewish Nazi.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
Huh?
Yeah, he was edgy.
I don't know. I remember
Is
the
it-
one time, like, he put this program with
Aped
MS
each
Paint
other.
or something,
Interesting.
where we just spend hours just recoloring Pokemon or something.
Oh my! Oh, that was fun though.
Yeah.
Recoloring Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. We
That
would,
was
like, do it,
really
like,
fun.
pixel by pixel or something. But yeah.
Yeah, we would like use the eye drop tool to get like the colors from
Yeah,
one
from, like,
Pokemon and like
another
replace
Pokemon.
it.
But I kept
that's
messing it
really-
up
that
and
was-
not, like, basically messing up as where, like, I didn't copy it or something, so we had an untainted version of it.
Yeah. Like you did keep fucking it up. Oh, actually, that reminds me though. At the time, me and John Leslie were on this fucking computer. I might have told you about this, but we always joked around about virus.org.
Yeah, I've heard about
Like this funny joke. Oh, don't go on virus.org, you get a virus. And one day we do it. We're like, wouldn't it be funny if we went on virus.org? And then I go on virus.org, and then we both look, and it looks kind of sketchy. We're like, I don't know about this. Maybe we should leave. And then I leave, and then like not even a minute later, the computer just blue screens. And we're both looking at it. We kind of look at each other and back to it, and it just says like fatal system error, system 32. Like, and we're just like, Oops.
Oopsie.
Your what?
My headphones.
Yeah, they're right here.
Remember? Oh, hold up. I think this.
Yeah, go for it.
Carl.
We're gonna have a guest celebrity appearance, James.
Oh, nice. Anyway, maybe we can ask her about funny things in her experience.
That is literally what she just suggested from
Oh.
underneath the table, so you can hear.
Nice. So, remember I don't know. I'm a big fan of Stephen King now, but I remember John Leslie had an obsession with him. Right? Where he was reading every single book he had. And I pointed out the novel Gerald's Game, with the original cover on it, which, for those who don't know what the original cover of Gerald's Game was, or what it implies to the actual story, it's it's like handcuffs on a bedpost.
Yeah,
and
but...
So I pointed that out to the teachers, right? Because, I don't know, me and Leslie and Carl were looking at King books. And they're like, how did this get in?
Why are you calling him Leslie?
I don't know, John Leslie.
You just call him John.
Oh, I don't know, I just say John Leslie.
I think it's literally the only John, we actually... I guess there's...
I call him John.
I guess there's...
Anyway, so, and I pointed that out to the teachers, and I'm like, well, how'd that get there? And they're like, oh, it's all donation books, and we just never see that book ever again. So I don't know. And at that point, I didn't really know what that book was. I just, thought it was red flaggish, because at that time, my mom got into Law and Order SVU. So, yeah. I just sort of tended to recognize that as maybe a problem.
Well, wait, hang on, I can't hear you. Reb, what?
Where's the call?
Discord. Here.
Oh, yeah.
James, just add Reb.
I knew Discord, but are you in a server? Or?
No.
No.
We'll just add you.
Though
we probably should have a server.
How do I do that?
But you click the little... Here, I'll add somebody. Maybe I'm the one who called? I actually don't remember.
Dun, 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 dun. Alright, here we go, boys. Welcome, ThoughtsofaDame, or aka Reb. Who? Yep.
Celebrity guest star, bro.
Yep,
Oh,
I got two
Carl,
guest stars.
I'm coming through your mic, and I can hear you.
Fix it.
Is it happening to you?
Not to me, no.
No, because I mute you.
Okay, I think I fixed it then.
Alright. So yeah, this is Reb. So Reb, I have a question.
She's here.
So what are how'd you get into opportunity school?
So it started with in 7th grade, I was failing history because my teacher was boring. Not just regular boring, he was advanced boring.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke in a monotone. The things he was teaching weren't interesting.
Oh, wow.
He never had us do anything
Whoa. You're getting real echoey.
I am?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Alright, continue. I stopped for a moment.
Okay. So I ended up I was failing and I didn't even really care.
Mm-hmm.
So I got put into a study period during that class rather than continuing with history.
Uh-huh.
So that I could try to bring my grades up and fix the problem and not flunk 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to do okay, but after that, that's when we finally were able to get me an IEP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was put into the EDBD program at Yorkville.
Uh-huh.
And so 8th grade starts up, and I'm in this program. And it sucks. I had to switch counselors. I had to switch my social worker, and my social worker before was Mrs. Johnson, and she was amazing. We were friends. Like, we were legitimately friends. We talked about a whole bunch of different stuff. We started a book club together. She was my friend, and she was the coolest. And I had to switch to Mrs. Trying to remember what her name it was at the time. I can't remember if it was because she had two names while I knew her. She had a name that started with a T that I can't remember, and then she had Schroding, and then she had Schroeder. And I can't remember the other, so I'm just going to go with Mrs. Schroeder. And she was this young, I should say Mrs. Johnson was an older woman. She had actually, like, known my dad when he was in school.
Oh, wow.
So she had been, like, she had been in Yorkville in the Yorkville school system for a really long time. And she was just amazing. Mrs. Schroeder was, like, I want to say she was 35, but she actually could have been 26.
All right.
She didn't look that young, though, and she had the "I want to speak to your manager" hairstyle. And I did not like her. Partially because I didn't like changing from a counselor I knew very well to someone I didn't know, and partially because she was kind of a bitch. Like, I just didn't like her. She wasn't very nice or very helpful.
Right.
And she made me feel like super dumb all the time, which really pissed me off because I'm not stupid. So I was dealing with that, and I was dealing with my classmates being just god awful.
Yeah.
Honestly, they were god
So,
awful.
what was the kind of, like,
they were
tipping
just a bunch
point?
of degenerate shits. I'm getting there. And I ended up failing everything because most of my classes were taught by the ED-BD specialist teachers. And so I had no interaction with, the normal students. I was stuck with a bunch of these degenerate shits. And I say that because, like, okay, I'm a bit older than you guys.
Yeah.
So at the time, these programs weren't as inclusive of people as they are now. They were mostly designed for kids with behavioral disorders, like what's it called? Oppositional defiance disorder. They were kids with, like, criminal records. Like they like would skip school and smoke and do a whole bunch of shit. And some of them were kids who also had, like, bipolar or severe ADHD or autism, but you didn't see that as much. That's not what the primary thing was. And also, a lot of these kids actually weren't from Yorkville, they were from Plano. Because Plano didn't have a program for these kids, so they got shipped to Yorkville, which was the closest school in the district that could take them. And I was fucking miserable, and I basically gave. I didn't give a shit. I was failing all of my classes. And I believe at the time I was in, I think I was in choir, but I can't remember for sure. But, and I got into a confrontation with a girl named Allison Larson, apparently, who was a bitch. Like, I don't even, like, I mean, really, she was the vice principal's daughter, and she was this mean little, grouchy little creature that I just didn't like, and she said all sorts of mean things about me, and, like, would talk shit on my, like, intelligence and stuff like that just because I was different. And she was awful. And apparently, and I say apparently because I do not fucking remember this. Apparently I kicked her. Apparently I fucking just kicked her in the leg or some shit. And that was the end for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was already failing all my classes. Then I kicked this chick in the leg, or wherever I kicked her. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the echoey thing again. I'm just worried about like the recording quality of that.
Oh, okay. But yeah. Anyway, so like I kicked her, and so on top of the fact that I was failing my classes, we got called in for a meeting with the people who run the Kendall County co-op, who controlled opportunity and also the EDD programs that were individual to the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they were like, we think that moving Rebecca to opportunity is the best option. And they really sold me on it. They were like, we don't start as early in the morning. We don't start until like I think
that
it was 8 a.m.
awesome to deal with for a while.
Oh yeah, no, that was one of the best parts of opportunity for sure. Because they started at 8 a.m. and they let out at 1:30, and there was no homework. They literally were like, you spend less day at school and you do not have homework. And I was like, that sounds great.
In the high school portion,
yeah, no,
for the most part, you just did it all in class.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You did it all in class. The only real time that there was any outside work was like the science fair.
Or, I don't know, there was like times where I wrote stuff for like an English class later when I was in high school. You know, that I had to do part of.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember. I know I did some of it at home, but I did do quite a lot of it in class.
Yeah, there was not this amount of pressure to be going home and doing, 4 or 5 hours of schoolwork,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what that was like what middle school was like. It was maybe not 4 or 5, but it was 2 or 3, which is a lot for a middle schooler, especially after you've spent, like freaking 7:30 a.m. until like 3 p.m. at school. That's then going home and having an additional like 2 or 3 hours of work to do. That's a lot. That's a ton of work. And so I was excited to go, and
one of the things I think my parents were actually worried about was my transference from not having homework to doing homework. When I like eventually transferred at least halfway to like the public Oswego High School.
Yeah, no, and I mean the thing is, I went from being a literally flunking out of 8th grade to being a straight A student like that. It was so much more of a good place for me because the class sizes were smaller. I had more personal attention with the teachers. There was, and it's not because the classes were easier either. I think the classes were, the same level of coursework. It's just teachers were designed to be giving more individual attention where needed. And, the school had, like 5 social workers at a time. I think when I started there, because it was a smaller school at the time, I know you guys actually were in a bigger building. I think there were 3. And I think maybe then, as I was there, they got a 4th. But yeah, like there were so many. There were social workers that were able to be with you at any given time.
Yeah.
And the classes were just better designed for the needs of the students, and there was more personal attention, which really helped me. And it was more encouraging, and it was I just liked that a lot. There were a lot of downsides. I didn't really like the other kids because a lot of the kids that ended up at Opportunity, they were.
It kind of sucked.
Well, not just that. At the time they were criminals.
Yeah.
Like most people there had not a parole officer, but like a police case manager, because they were like delinquents. They had been like stealing. They had been fighting. They had been doing and I had a very I was mostly just a kid who flunked out and got into one altercation. And so it was difficult because I didn't really want to be friends with any of these kids.
Yep.
They weren't the kind of people I wanted to be around. But, I mean, ultimately that drove me to work really hard to get back to Yorkville High School.
Yeah.
And I was only at Opportunity for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
because I liked opportunity, but I actually wanted to go back to my high school and be with my friends. And
Mm-hmm.
I will say, it really did help me because me being an A student didn't end when I went back to normal high school. When I got back to normal high school, I had learned to manage homework. I had learned to manage my emotions better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to transition into a situation where I was succeeding.
Uh-huh. Well, actually,
So yeah, it was
I
pretty
transfer out
much
of
me an opportunity.
I transferred out of opportunity once prior to high school. That just didn't end well. Um, but then I was able to transfer out into, in high school. It went much better. Because my attitude had changed quite a bit. Like, I remember many times where people would antagonize me. I'm like, I just queue up, start the Street Fighter music sort of thing,
Hmm.
and I'm like, but now I'm like, it's almost like the difference between, a Kevin Hart, comedy show where he's like, say what again, like up in the face, and afterlife, Ricky Gervais, where he's like, who cares about your insignificance? I'm here just to do my thing. I don't know if you've ever seen Afterlife. I love it. But yeah,
I haven't, but hey, but yeah,
yeah.
uh,
So Carl, Ooh, Carl.
Sorry, my mic was muted for a second.
So I don't know. I remember you telling me the story about Emmanuel and cigarettes. So why don't you?
Yeah.
Why don't you?
I was walking.
I'm gonna
We were
just
walking
slip out
to
of
the
the
gym.
call for a minute,
Yeah.
guys. I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. Um, it was pretty simple. We were walking around in the gym, right?
Uh huh.
Okay. And we're going around in circles, and there's just this Emmanuel kid
Uh huh.
whom I fucking hate. I hate so hard for so many different reasons that I don't even want to get into
Uh huh.
because they're just nasty. I just hate this piece of shit.
Mhm.
They fucking walk him, and I see a fucking cigarette box fall out they fucking pants on the floor.
Mhm.
And like, without thinking like, wow, I hate this dude. Like, wow, this guy's a dick. I don't even think about it. It doesn't even click. I just go, hey, I think you dropped something. You should probably pick that up quick. He's like, oh, thank you, sir. And he grabs it and he stuffs it in his fucking pants before he gets in trouble. And I'm like, and then I'm walking and I'm like, wait,
I hate that dude.
what? Why did I help him? Just because I don't help him, doesn't mean I have to snitch. I didn't have to say shit, did I? But no, I just had to fucking help him out. It probably didn't make a difference in the long run, so who cares, honestly? But I don't know. I just think that was a funny thing. I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. I don't really care, but you seem to find it funny,
Yeah.
James. You and you alone.
I find it
Scared.
absolutely hilarious. I am laughing so hard on the inside. I remember the
Ha.
time we broke a rule.
Funny.
I remember the time we broke a ruler. Right? Like,
Actually,
huh?
oh, I was gonna say I was just gonna say I actually remember the time that I bashed your head hard on the gym wall,
Oh yeah.
and I didn't expect it to hurt as much, but then you like actually screamed in pain. I was like, oh, oops. So I bashed my head on the wall.
True friends, there's like the time we were like in Mr. Countryman's room or something, supposed to be working on algebra, but we weren't. You know how most things happen.
Yeah.
Jack has a flight back today.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But
Sick. That's good.
My dad was not.
so
Wait.
we were like, how tough is this ruler? It's like a yardstick or something. So you just raise it high as if you're about to strike down a demon, and just bring it down on my binder. It's like one of those ones you unzip and it's like a case or something, and it just snaps in half. So we're like, did the teacher notice that? I don't think he did, but anyway, if he did, anyways, we just, put the ruler back on the chalk on the whiteboard, tray for markers, and just waited to leave class.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, time to get out of here. It's like,
Damn.
yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's like real crazy. It's like absolutely insane.
Fucking loco. I can't get over the time that I deadass saw this with my own eyes. Fucking Miss Glendy spilled an entire bag of M&Ms. And before all of the M&Ms had even settled into their final position, you were already down on the ground on all fours, licking them off of the ground or scooping them into your mouth like a fucking combine harvester. I will not forget.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm an absolute gremlin.
That's just the funniest.
Gremlin.
Okay, so Carl, I have a question
What's
for you.
the term? Tummy gremlin?
Yeah, tummy gremlin.
What?
Alright, I have a question for
Tummy
you.
gremlin. What's the question?
If you were a demigod, right? Who would you least want to be your godly parent?
What gods do I have to choose from?
Practically any of them, really.
So can I make some shit up?
Well, okay, real life equivalents, Carl. Like, you know,
What do you mean?
like real
Life? What do you mean real life? I don't think they
Oh.
exist, James. I
Okay,
can't
like,
pick from real life if I don't even think they're real.
pantheons, like the ones that already exist, Carl.
Okay, well you just said you. Okay, so pre-existing pantheon. Okay, so just any of them.
Yeah.
So I could go with some like crazy cultist like Scientology shit if I want.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, probably the crazy guy who nuked. Yeah, what's?
When you said Cody, you mean Dakota?
Yeah.
Okay, it took me a minute. Because I thought you were talking about a different person, and I had the dumb moment where I was like,
His name's Cody.
I was like,
Yeah, what? Big thing.
yeah, no, because Cassie always refers to him as Dakota.
Yeah, because Cassie has issues.
Mm.
She does, but that's not a nice thing to say about her.
Xenu, also called Zemu.
Uh-huh.
So I would probably, if I was any demigod, I'd least want Xenu to be my parent. That sounds like it'd be awful. Because if you don't know the lore, basically, what's it? 75 million years ago, there was a super planet that was just like Earth in the 60s, but like really cool, like high tech. And they had an overpopulation problem. So Xenu, the dictator of the Galactic Confederacy, put like billions of people to this weird planet called Earth, and then stacked them around volcanoes, and then killed them with hydrogen bombs. And then those people then became the spirits that inhabit your immortal body, or your body. They're the immortal spirits that inhabit your mortal body, and they represent like all evil and like wrong. But why do they represent all evil and wrong? They were just some weird people who got rounded up to be executed en masse. Why do they represent evil? I don't know. Not important. Xenu, not a cool guy. Nuked billions of people.
Every time Xenu, I just think Warrior Princess.
Oh.
Why? What is that?
Xena.
It's Xena Warrior Princess.
Is that what it is?
Well, actually, it's
I don't
Xena,
know.
but yeah.
Because earlier she said I was talking about Zenith, and she was like, Zenith, Warrior Princess. Like, what is that?
I remember the show, never seen it.
Huh.
But, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel. Why didn't he just put them on Earth and then just leave them? Why do you have to
kill them out there?
Why do you have to nuke them with hydrogen bombs on that planet? What? Couldn't he have just killed them on their previous planet?
No.
Was he afraid of the controversy? Like what? Yeah, so that's interesting. You know. What about you, James? What god would you want least to be your father or our mother?
Our mother? What?
You said if you were a demigod, which deity would you least want to be?
Like your parent.
Your parent? I think it's a father, but okay, whatever.
If I had to pick one in particular, I really wouldn't want Apollo.
Really?
Yeah,
What's the deal with him?
I don't know. It just kind of seems like a bit of a weirdo. I just rather not have myself associated with that. Like obviously,
You don't want to be associated with weirdos, James.
Shut up. Like,
This just in, breaking news. James does not like to be associated with weirdos. Podcast over.
What does James think a weirdo is?
Oh.
If evidently not the kind of person
Actually,
to get on the ground and scoop M&Ms into their mouth.
Well, actually,
Harvesting them.
oh, Apollo, yeah, he does music and stuff. But to be honest, I don't really like him that much. He kind of seems boring. Like, and also he has a bad track record with some previous
What would
lovers.
James do if you spilled a bag of M&Ms on the floor at the same time that you dropped a 2 liter of Mountain Dew Code Red on the floor?
Listen, I bought that earlier today. Don't.
James, what would you do if we dropped a 2 liter of Mountain Dew Code Red, now available in cherry?
It's always been cherry.
Code Red
Yeah,
is one flavor and it's cherry. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like what?
I gotta get the sponsor money in, Reb.
I don't. Well,
Why did you say now available?
Now available in cherry.
well,
Well, it sounded like you were gonna say more.
I stopped, didn't I?
well, okay.
What if I said now available in cherry and raspberry, and that's like, boom, big move. Now, what did you just do to your?
Well, I don't know. I just don't want him as a parent.
It rolls farther than I expected.
Also, it's
to.
pretty.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Although it'd do wonders for the time I tried to do the archery merit badge, I just wouldn't really. I like music. I would like to make it, but I don't know. I just don't have the stuff, so I'd be like, it would be cool in some ways. It just kind of, I don't want to. If anything, I'd probably want someone like, I don't know, Phobos or Demos as my parent. Because how badass that would be. Your dad is literally the god of fear or terror. That'd be awesome. I don't know. Not that I would, I just use it for goofy things like, hey. And just instantly intimidate. Like, I rolled a nat 20 on my intimidation check. It'd be funny. But,
I see what you mean,
yeah.
James. It's James. It's all adding up. It's all beginning to make sense.
All making sense. Hey, actually, ask the same question to Rab.
Reb, if you were a demigod, what deity would you least want to be your parent?
Would I least?
Mm-hmm.
Least. Yeah. I think it's a lot less interesting than most, because if it was most, I would just say, like, Satan.
Satan's
that'll be-
not God, so...
Well, okay,
It's
yes,
a
he is.
deity figure. It's definitely a deity figure.
Yeah, I was like-
If your dad is Satan, I almost said Jesus. Got them confused for a second. If your dad is Satan, you're a demigod. There's not really arguing that. Wow, this guy looks like a serial killer.
I feel it's weird to say like you wouldn't be, because like technically the
Trying
gods
to
of
think, and it's...
like the children of mountain spirits in like the Polynesian religion, I think they're technically demigods or something, aren't they? Even though the
I
mountain
don't know.
spirits themselves aren't necessarily deities.
I mean, I think here's a better question, James. Here's a better question. If you only had 2 Minecraft blocks to build your real life home out of, what would you pick? And if you say, okay, never mind. What?
After considering the question that you asked me, I'm thinking that the answer is Aries.
Aries, okay.
Oh, you're still answering it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be associated with, like, war, because I really don't like war.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate that shit. I don't know. I think I'd rather be like the child of just about anyone else, to be honest. But probably Hecate specifically.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's natural. Like you practically are anyway.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that as a
Yeah.
compliment.
James, what's your favorite Minecraft block?
Cobblestone and oak. I think that'd probably be the stuff I build my house out of.
Oh, I see. Cobblestone and
Yeah.
oak.
So, Carl.
But what's your favorite Minecraft block?
Cobblestone. Original graphics. So, Carl, actually.
Ooh, can I get the same question?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rab, what's your favorite Minecraft block?
My favorite Minecraft block. I really love prismarine, especially dark prismarine.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I just think it's pretty.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I think if I could make my a house out of 2 blocks, it would be prismarine lanterns and ice.
Okay.
That is a pretty cool vibe.
Yeah, because
Especially-
actually I used to really love to make I loved to make ice castles.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the
I
new
love
Nether, you could especially in the cold part of the Nether where it's got like the snow. Well, it's actually ash, but it's like looks like it's snowing, and you have like blue flames and shit.
Yeah.
that would be cool.
So,
Yeah, I used to like to pick an icy location in the ocean, and I would just build I would create an ice house there, and you have to be careful because you can't use what are they called? Torches, because torches cause the ice to melt in the water.
mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on the ice. If it's packed ice, it won't.
Well, okay, at the time, packed ice wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to be really careful about how I went about lighting up the area.
I'm sure they had packed ice and glaciers at the same time.
Oh.
I thought they did. I thought they had it at the same time.
To be fair, they might have added glaciers at the same time, but I actually used to do this before there were glaciers.
But what?
I think like snowy, spruce
Yeah, they had
forest.
snowy areas with like ice, but they didn't have like full glaciers.
But they didn't have areas made out of ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they didn't have areas made out of ice. I would just choose an icy like edge of the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would
Ice.
yeah, I would craft. I mean, and I will admit I did this with like I would be in creative mode because
Oh, okay.
because it was just like I wanted to create like the coolest palace I could.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I would love these palaces, and then I would get a bunch of wolves because they're these beautiful white wolves, and I'd put them in my ice palace, and it would be really fucking aesthetic as hell. I love it.
Yeah. So, Carl, remember the first time I went over to your house?
No.
Oh, really? I don't know. Apparently, I
No, I
knocked
don't.
on the door, and then I knocked on the garage or something, and you appeared with an axe in your hands. It's like, I thought someone was starting to break into my house.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, like,
Dang.
yeah, like, so I was, like, visiting my friend Carl, Carl for the very first time, because I was like, hey, Carl, you want to hang out at your place? Hey, Carl, you want to hang out at your place? Or something like that. And finally, he's like, alright, here's my address, pop up at some point. And so that's what I do. And apparently, he thought someone was trying to break into his house, and grabbed his homemade axe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Homemade?
I don't know, like, it was like, a very rustic looking axe, but it was an axe. I thought it was homemade or something. I know you had a scythe too, which I thought was badass.
Bad or badass?
Badass.
Yeah. I think I remember that part of my life.
Yep.
Huh. We need to play D&D again soon.
Yeah, we really do. It'd be fun. Actually, would you ever
Honestly, even though Raquel can't come over on Friday, I would really still like if you guys could come over.
So, yeah, okay, what is the purpose of Friday? Just making sure?
Yeah, I was a little caught off. Yeah, what's that about?
Like, what do you mean the purpose? I mean, I want to see my friends.
Okay.
I just thought that
No.
Monday would be difficult.
I don't know. I guess my question was like, oh, is it like birthday party thing or like that?
I mean, sort of. It would be celebrating my birthday, just because
Alright. Well,
I think that's a good day
yeah, the
to
only
go with.
the only thing is like I do have work the next day in the morning, so
have to be a little careful about the time, I guess.
So, alright. So we have almost an hour, just like a few more seconds left. So,
Why do you always do podcasts in 1 hour intervals?
I don't know.
Most people do them for like 3 hours, like 6 hours at a
Not the
time.
ones
And
I
obviously
watch.
6 hours is a little bit much.
Not the ones I watch, mate.
I don't. Yeah, the ones I watch or have watched in the past are like 2 hours
Alright,
or 3 hours, 2 hours at least.
Alright, so I wanted to break this off with a news segment just because I thought it'd be cool. So I went
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
went looking for like Florida man things, right? I found this article, right? So this Florida woman whose husband has Alzheimer's disease, right? She wasn't gonna be able to see him for at least 60 days, possibly, or so, because of an extension of like quarantine, right? So what she did
Okay.
was she got a job working as a dishwasher in the memory unit where her husband is, just so she could see him. And I'm thinking, oh, that's badass. It's like, you know, like, she wouldn't have been.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I guess. It's alright.
So that's
It's reasonable. It's acceptable.
acceptable. If it was, laundry, no, not happening. It's like, how dare you? Yeah. All right.
Interesting. Thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
Thoughts and prayers.
Hopefully, he is doing okay. I know Alzheimer's patients don't usually end well, so yeah. All right. So yeah, this has been Karisen Conversation with Kristopher Campbell and ThoughtsofaDame, aka.
This has been Karisen Conversations with your host, Kristopher Campbell. James was here too. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. I'll have to change the title. Just
How do I leave the phone?
All right. Yep, I want a Patreon now that Carl mentions it, so I'll see if I can't do anything about that. But yeah, have a
why'd you leave
spooky
the-
day, everyone.
Oh, okay.
All right.